I am your father. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me get set up here. We've got, I think all my checklist is good. I've got recording started, stream come on time. I didn't turn it off. Mic is on. We're ready to go. Yay. Let's see. We are ready to go. There's Tracy. Good morning, Tracy. How are you? You're in big trouble. Uh, hey, here's Kelly, too. Good morning. Hey, Kelly. You guys sent me into a whirlwind yesterday. Uh, uh, the good news is I figured out the best score. I couldn't let that go. It was just one of those things that just, it's there. I can see it. I know it's not that difficult. It just, I couldn't figure it out. So I went back and it came to me within, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So I got that all fixed up, cleaned up some things, um, finished up just cleaned up the 3-ring gameplay. And I think I've got all the bugs and all the little missing things out of the way. But that opened up a whirlwind. So you saw the graphic, and if not, we're going to jump right into the iPad this morning because I want to map out I want to get it on notes. I want to map out the correct best score. Actually, I'm thinking about calling it best game because it's not really a score, right? What's your best game? Because we talk about games, number of games, like attempts. So I just think, I don't know, I think it looks better calling best games. So let me do a little producing here, and to let's see. I need to. I'm talking to myself because I need to do some things, and there we go. All right, let's flip that over. That should. No, I don't want Siri. And I don't want that. Oh, peek. I'm doing DevLearn t-shirt design. You weren't supposed to see that yet. Okay, so here is the graphic from yesterday. So I've got Kelly, I got all your notes and all your ideas on a different page. But I really love the undo. So here's the big question about the undo. I know, Tracy, you came up with this yesterday. Is it, you get 3 lives, so is it 1 life per level, or is it 1 life per all levels? So 1 life per all levels is easier to manage in terms of putting it together. 1 life per level, or 3 lives per level, it's a little bit more, involved in terms of, evaluating and building that. Either way is doable. It's just what's the best experience, right? What do we want? I'm leaning more towards 3 lives per the whole game. Make it a little bit more challenging. The show animated sequence, the replay, that's insane. It's doable. But thinking through that, we'd have to figure out how to map and evaluate and track every layer of every possible move and know where you just came from. So basically, for every game, we'd have to basically build a sequence, sort of in a variable kind of bucket of sequence. And then somehow go to another slide and go through that same stack of layers based on those variables, and then set the timeline to half a second per layer. So it would just kind of bounce through those layers in an animated sequence. I think I'm going to build one on the 2-ring gameplay just to see how difficult it is, because that pattern obviously is going to build exponentially as we go up to 5 rings. Needless to say, it's going to be a lot of work. whatever we do. So Tracy was thinking it was really, let's see. Oh, there's Andrew. What's going on, buddy? This game is becoming insane, Andrew. We're having a blast. Let's see, Tracy. I was thinking it was really equal to 3 undos in total, and you can only undo back 1 step. That would be easiest. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? So 3 lives per the whole thing, and then that's kind of like a mulligan, right? So you can do an undo, and then you'd get your count back. You get your score, like so. It would subtract against the moves. So you kind of like a mulligan, right? So yeah, I like that idea as well. Now, and then we have over here in the corner, we have, and that's the other reason. Here's another thing I was thinking, and I made a note. In order to track each level, games, best score, all that kind of thing, we need to go back into our variable names, and we need a set of variables for each level. Because if I set the number of games, or excuse me, the number of moves and the best game and all that kind of thing, I need to carry those values over to this sort of overall scores sort of leaderboard, my personal leaderboard. And when I go to the next level, I can't reset those variables. Otherwise, it would erase here. So we're going to have to do that. And that's one of the things I want to do today, get that set up. But let's go back over here where we were at yesterday. This was a lot of Kelly's suggestions about scoring the entire history of the game. And that's where the personal leaderboard came in. So you track the whole history of the whole game, plus this game. Multiple players, or like 2 players. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure it's doable, but what would be the gameplay experience? Like your turn versus my turn. I haven't been able to, I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet. What does that mean? A leaderboard, sort of like a community leaderboard, compare scores. That would work too, and I'm excited about, as I mentioned, I think it was yesterday, I'm joining Torrance Learning's annual XAPI cohort next week, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what we can do with XAPI in this game and create maybe some of that, like a community leaderboard. And then the timer. The timer is, again, that's another tricky thing to try to figure out with, and again, remember the challenge. We're not going to bend. No JavaScript. If JavaScript was an option, then timer's a piece of cake. We're building this out-of-the-box storyline, and arguably you can build this in any version of storyline. That's our restriction, or that's the restriction I put on myself to build this. And so far, we're flying with flying colors. But as soon as you start adding all this stuff, yeah, there you go, Kel. That user sign-on, right? We can't do that with storyline the way it is right now. So I'm gonna get this game finished with out of the box storyline, and then we're gonna call it a success. And then let me move this mic out of the way. I'm just noticing that's kind of in my face. And then we'll bend the rules and say, okay, what else can we do? So that's the idea. Anyway, so you see this best score kind of mess here in the middle on my screen. I'm going to take that back. We're going to go back. We're going to start another canvas here. And let me get my tools set up here. Okay, so we've got our variables. Let's just call this calculate best game. So our variables, now remember there's no variables in gameplay. The only variables being used is to track score and count and things. That's the only thing we're using variables for. So the variables are, we have number of moves, number of games, so that's the overall games, number of moves hold. This is our holding bucket. And then best game. That's our 4 variables. Now, for each level, we're going to have this set for each level. So, easy way to do that is just put maybe a LV1 at the front of it or something. Maybe LV2, I think, is the easiest way to do that to keep them consistent, a good naming convention, for that. So, all right. So if we kind of figure out what's going on, we've got a number of moves down here in the corner. Well, let me name it. And it was one. Believe it or not, it was one trigger that was tripping me up. And after that. Okay, there's number of moves there. We've got number of games over here. Let me move this around a little bit. Hang on. Just making some more real estate here. I love this app, by the way. Procreate. This is a really cool app. Then we've got up here best games, or best game. And then we have our num moves hold. And I moved it down here because this is not going to actually be displayed during live gameplay. This is just reference so we can watch it, so we can see it. So let's say, right, so let's say we're one game, and let's assume that our first that humming kind of rumble sound you hear right now is the garage door opening below my studio. So somebody is either leaving or coming home. Let's say it took 12 moves. Okay? So that's the first thing. So what our triggers are what we're going to do is we're going to move this value into the holding bucket. Okay? And then we're going to move this value into best games if num games my goodness, num games is equal to 1. That's our first step. Then let's say our next game we get a better score. Say we get 9, and now this is our second game. So now what we have to do is we're going to move 9 into num holds. And then we're going to, this first one is add. And this is what was tripping me up yesterday. The second one that goes in there is not an add, because we don't want to add 9 to 12. We want to reset it. So that was the thing that was tripping me up, the equals assignment. Otherwise known as set. So now we're going to set best game if num games equals or is greater than or equal to 2. That's it. It was this right there that was tripping me up. It was a set because I kept adding to it and it kept goofing up and everything. So this is the formula. This is how we do the best game over multiple levels. And then all we have to do is just add this little LV number to each one depending on the level we're on. So pretty cool. That's figured out. Let's jump into storyline. I'll show you how it works. And then we've got some other things we got to figure out. I'm going to go back to this other sketch over here that we had, these other notes. Some things that we have to, or things that I need to figure out, and I keep saying we because I'm really, your guys' ideas are, this is what, I wouldn't be where I'm at now if it wasn't for you. All right, so what do we do? Where do we go? 3-ring gameplay is working, and I'll show you when we get into storyline. So what do? Do we build the launch screen based on the map that I drew out yesterday? Do we build that out so we can start, navigating to those different game levels, with the padlocks and all that kind of stuff? Do we got to clean up at some point? I got to clean up 2-ring gameplay. Remember, because I changed the naming convention of the I changed the naming convention of all the layers once we got over to 3. So the 2-ring gameplay still has the old naming convention, and it doesn't have the best score, doesn't have any of that stuff in there. So another thing that I thought too, since we have to do this best score thing, consider using the master slide to put all of the scoring and stuff. That way it's in one place and I don't have to rebuild it on each slide as I go through. Master slide for variables. And what was the other one? That was it. Vars for different levels. So it's more of a checklist of things we have to do. So there's some things. So that's, do we do all that now, or we just go ahead and start building out 4-ring gameplay? I'm pretty comfortable now, and I've been saying this for the last several episodes. I'm not going to be comfortable moving towards building the next level until I'm absolutely confident the gameplay is working, it's bug-free, error-free, everything is smooth, there's a good pattern. Because the pattern, I don't want to go into the next one and discover a new way or a new pattern, and then have to go backwards and update the previous games. So we're kind of at a critical point now because the next 2 game levels are going to be exponentially larger in terms of number of layers. So I don't want to get that deep into it and then realize, holy cow, I got to go back and update all this other stuff. So that's where we're at. Let's go ahead and jump into storyline and we'll figure all this stuff out. Let me pull a little producing hat on here. Let's get this pulled up. Hey, there's Garrett. What's up? Say hi to my son, everybody. Garrett just joined. And my daughter-in-law just drove over 2,000 miles cross country from here back to Seattle, Tacoma area with 2 toddlers. That just earned the ultimate road trip master hat. Just have to say, that is crazy. There we go. Let me adjust this window. Let's get in here. I'm in the producer window and I'm trying to move the layers and stuff around in the producer window instead of in storyline. It doesn't seem to work that way. Okay, there we go. How's that look? That looks good. Let me set this over here. That's right. Garrett's a strong man. She's amazing. She pushed through 3 days too. Only 3 days. It's typically a 4 to 5 day trip with 2 babies, and you did it in 2 days, 3 days. Remarkable. Okay. Where are we at? All right, so here's our game. And let me show you. You know what? This is bothering me because it's way over here on the left. I'm going to bring it back over. Hang on. There we go. Make sure it doesn't hide the... That's good right there. Here is right there. There's our formula that we just sketched out. So first thing is we add the number of moves. So how many moves it takes per game. Doesn't matter how many. So like 3 ring, the minimum number is 7. So it takes me 9, 12, 11, doesn't matter. Whatever that value is, when I get to this layer, add it to this holding bucket. Then, if it's your first game, then simply add the number of moves to best game. That's all you got to do. So now we've got our first best game visible. So let's say again it's 12, arguably. Now the critical part, this is where it was holding me up, because I kept doing the operator is add. Well, that was that thing. It's just right there at the tip of your noggin, but you just can't kind of break through and figure it out. And that's what was happening. I kept adding the new count to the old count. So the thing is, I don't want to do that. I want to set it. I want to reset, erase what was there and replace it. And what's in the hold, because I've already moved that new value into the hold, right? And then down here our condition, if num moves hold is less than best game, so best game already has a value. So if the next gameplay is 9, if 9 is less than 12, then, and also if the games is greater than or equal to 2. So if we're on our second or third or fourth game, then those are our 2 conditions that we update that. Now, the other one last thing we had to do is right down here, I have to reset the hold bucket back to 0. Because remember, I'm moving it, I'm adding whatever's in the numbers move, because I'm resetting that up here. So essentially these two, I mean, arguably, it doesn't matter, they're all happening at the same time. But I'm resetting these 2 buckets. I'm not resetting the best game. That's that's it. And then that same sequence of triggers is on every layer, on the win layers. And that's it. It works. I'll demonstrate here in a minute. The other thing that I did, you remember yesterday when I was talking about moving where to add, the number of moves away from when a ring is dropped on a target, instead just when the layer kicks off. The more I kept testing it, it was skipping numbers, and I had to go back and add some. So it wasn't really effective. I mean, it worked, but there were some that was adding when the layer started, and some I had to add especially when we got towards the the win layer. So I just scrapped that whole thought and just put them all back. It's just an extra trigger to maintain on everyone, but it's still clean. Every layer, for the most part, it doesn't matter how many rings we put into this thing. Every layer is going to look. It's not going to be much busier than that right there. Maybe a third ring, depending on the potential moves. Anyway, so I'm going to play this out. I'm going to test this again. And I remember getting all excited, but there was nobody awake and nobody here to celebrate. So I remember it was 1:49 this morning when I was like, "Yay, it works!" And then there was like nobody around. I was like, "Okay, I'll just tell you guys, and you can get all excited." It's always that first preview that seems to take a while. Jumping back, yeah, mountain passes, Kelly. That's that scary one. between when you cross over from Montana into Washington State on the north route. I've crossed that pass a couple times, and it's this time of year is not so bad. It's I did it in the month of November, and it was pretty sketchy. Okay, so another thing I did is I went ahead and added the numbers to our drop targets here just for, and again, all this is going to get cleaned up. All this will get moved out of the way. Notice I changed it to best game rather than best score. And then the hold I put down on the bottom. So let's play a game. And I'll try to get, I really think I've discovered all of the bugs. So let's make sure, let's hope none of these bugs show up. All right, so I'm going to kind of mess around here and get some kind of a high score. There's 7. There's 8, 9, 10. Let's go back over here. 11. Let's get 12. Now this should 12. So now 12 comes up to best game. So notice that all three of these values have the same number because I've pushed it into the hold and I've pushed it up to best game. Now when I play again, it's going to reset everything except best game. See that? Okay, now let's play again, but let's get a lower number than 12, but not a win yet. So let's play another game. And this works on either tower. So the same number of triggers are on either tower. I'm just playing tower B. Actually, we can play tower C and see if that... Let's play tower C. Let's put it over here. We'll put this one over here. That's 6. That's 7, 8, 9, and now 10. Now, when I drop this ring on C, we're on a different tower. I got a better score, a better game this time. So 9 should now go into best game. Oh, 10. Yeah, 10 because I didn't drop it yet. So that's right. It scared me. But that's right. So see what happened there? So now my best game is 10. Play again. Now this time I'm going to win. We'll go back to tower B to win. And put this one up here. Well, we'll go to tower C. I've already started that sequence. And 6. Now this is going to be 7. Now 7 is going to show up at best game, and I'm going to see the win layer. Ta-da! Yay. Now, here's the thing. The next thing is, that's what I was talking about. Do we do back to the launch screen, to unlock the next level? When I hit play again, or do I say play again and then add another, button here that says next level? Or do we just go to the next level here? I think I'm going to add another button that says next level. What if I want to play again, right? I want to play again, whatever. So then play again, best. So yeah, it works. How cool is that? Now remember, gameplay, I can take all of these variables out and erase them from the board, but the gameplay is still there. And that's what's fascinating about Storyline right now, is that we're doing this with just layers. Very exciting. Okay, let's see. First thing I want to do, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to edit these. LV1. So these 4 variables are going to be, for, oh no, you know what, this is level 2. This is not level 1, this is level 2. And another thing was really cool about this part of it, one of the workflow things is I don't have to go update. When I update here, all of my variables are automatically being updated. So if I come in here, you'll see the LV2, everything's been updated. All my references on the screen have been updated. Everything's been updated. So it's all good. So this doesn't really matter, this overlap right here, because I know that's a digit. So arguably there's only going to be 2 digits right there. So it's only going to take up the space of that percent symbol and that L character. So that's where it's actually going to show. So it's one of those things that it's visually, as a developer, it's kind of annoying because I don't want it to overlap. But I know when it's really playing, see, I can move this one way over here, overlapping. And wow, it's slow today. There we go. So you see, it still looks okay in presentation mode, if you will, preview mode, but it is kind of hard to read. So I'm going to keep it right here for now. I'll clean it up and we'll put the nice, pretty dressing on it later. So let's get that. I'm going to go ahead and create the other levels just to get them ready, even though we're not using them yet. So I need one for level 1, level 3, and level 4. So there's level 1, level 3. So we'll just get these prepared because we're going to need them later. Oh yeah, level 3, level 4. Yep. Okay. And then I need 3 more of these. 1, 2, 3. So again, a little bit of busy work. Level 3 and level 4. Okay, now I've got, now I'm getting confused. Level 1, level num games, num moves. Let's do this. Go back out, reset. Okay, so level 1 best game, level 1 num games, level 2 num moves. 1, 2, 3. This is another thing with storyline. I mean, for those of you who keep working in it, I get a little OCD when it comes to naming my objects and my variables and my layer names. These are all things that the user is never going to see, but it helps when I have to troubleshoot. When I have to troubleshoot, it's easier for me to go back in and see. So we got level 1, best game, num games, num moves. Best game, num moves, num hold. 1, 2, 3. So here's what I would like to do. If you're all game, if you'd like to, because we're going to take a break until Monday. I want to publish this. I'll take this game play, 3-ring game. I'll take it out of this file and put it in its own file, and then leave all of the listeners and leave everything there, and then publish it up on Articulate Review. And would you guys be interested in, what do you call it, gameplay, like test play? And see if there's anything that I'm not seeing or something that's broken or missing. There's another thing we got to do. Let me make a note. That's another thing I want to do before I go to four rings is, hey, Mike, what's going on? Oh, thanks, Tracy. All right, well, I'll publish, and then I'll send a link out to the Facebook page, and I'll blast it out when you want to test it. The other thing I got to make a note here. The one thing we got to do is, I've noticed through the gameplay, some of the rings are kind of they're pixel jumping on me, so they're not necessarily in the same XY position. So, and again, it's a visual sort of OCD thing. But what I'm thinking about doing is creating a style guide, maybe like a little Excel spreadsheet that has all the XY coordinates for all the positions on where they need to be. And I gotta, it's gonna take a while because I gotta do it for everyone, but it's something I want to do because some of these in this gameplay are pixel jumping on me. And I don't think that all the drop targets are correct as well. So we'll figure that out when we get there. Okay. We've got our new variables in place. We've got, let's go back here. I'm thinking, see, here's ring 2 gameplay. See let's clean this up. This won't take long. So this is R1. Let's get this one going here. This is one of those just sort of, I don't know, just working episodes. I just want to see what I've got. This is what justified to the right. Let's go back over to 2 rings. Let's go back over to 3 rings. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I made it this wide to accommodate, 372, to accommodate five rings. Oh, and of course it's going to go that way. Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to just do this. I'm just going to grab it. Justified right, and it is 632. Justified right, and what is it, 632? There we go. Let's do this fast way. This is R1 C5 and R2 A5. And then we have R1 B5, R2 C5. You know, I'm thinking about if I'm going to publish this, I might just go ahead and publish it, because what we can do, how much time we got? I'm going to put a little, I think, I'm going to put a little open sort of navigation on that starter screen. R1 C5, R2 B5. Working out loud, that's what it's all about. It's like, hey, can't you have that thing put together by Friday? Sure. Piece of cake. What's that old saying? the easier it is for you, it's more work for me. So if I'm trying to build an experience, then the back end of that is going to be a heck of a lot more effort than what it appears to be when you're playing the game. R2, C5. Tracy doesn't know anything about that. I'm just teasing. And this is our win layer. See now here, no, this is our starter layer. So R1, A4, and R2, A5. I don't talk out loud. I just only live just because I don't want you guys to sit here and listen to dead silence. But when I'm in my flow, if you will, there's no TV on, there's no radio. It's just dead silent. That's the starter. So that comes down here, and then we don't need the invalid move anymore. Take that out. So to win, so this is B. This is B1. So that'd be the first move if I'm going to win on tower B. And that's sort of the tip or the trick that I've discovered, that if you start ring 1 on tower B, then that's the starting sequence to win on tower B. Second move, this is tower C, C1, C1. This is B2. Now remember, this game is only three moves, and this is B2. Oh wait, B1. Oh, and in 2-ring gameplay, this is C1 path. Ah, okay, that's a new discovery. In 3-ring gameplay, if you drop ring 1 on B, that's the correct. Now it's the opposite. That's the first one, and then that's the second one. This is C2. Ah, that's interesting. It's kind of a new discovery. This is C1. So I start C1, C2, C3. So C3 would be this one. And this is B1. And then greater than, this comes up here. Oh, too far. Right there, come on, right there. Okay. So and then this goes, all right, so this is B1, B2. And then B3, or the win. And then greater than would go here. And these are just other positions that it could be in. Now we need to go grab those triggers. grab this one, come back over to 2-ring gameplay, come here, and we're going to paste that one. But now, this is L1. L1. Wait a minute. Num moves. L1 num moves. And okay. Tracking right along, so there's that one. Now we grab this one and we come over to ring 2. Right here, change this to L1 best game, L1 num moves, if L1 num games is equal to 1. Now we come back over to ring 3, 3 rings, grab the third variable, go back over to 2, paste that trigger, update the variables, L1 best game, L1 nums hold, L1 nums hold, variable, what was that? L1 num games, right? If move hold is less than and num games is greater than or equal to 2. Let me just verify that real quick. Yeah, num games. So it's best game, nums hold, nums move, best game, num games. Okay. Best game, nums hold, num games, yep, there we go. Okay, now we're resetting num moves. We also have to reset num hold. When the user clicks the play again button, so I'm going to change these two to L1. And we change this L1's hold. And there we go. So that's all, looks like it's set up right. Did I miss anything? We got those 3, and we've got these 2. We can move that up, it doesn't matter. It looks cleaner when they're together like that. Okay, now we'll come back over here to 2. Oh, you know what? I'm going to grab this text box right here. Oh, I need this one too. Grab these, put these over here on ring 2. That's another thing. So if we do a master, I guess it doesn't matter because it can't really be a master. Now that I think about that, I'd have to have 4 masters because I'm using different variables. So they're fine right here where they're at. I was thinking if those variables could be global where I could reset them and use them for each game, for each level. But since we're doing it this way, I'd have to have 4 different masters anyway. maybe, I don't know, I might think, it depends on the graphics. I might have some background graphics that are consistent, you know, across all levels. So let's put using the master slide on the shelf for right now. Not that it matters, but we can. So this is one. This is one. And we've got these. Now we just need to transfer these over to, oh, look here, I've got a whole bunch of extra stuff in here I don't need. You know, that's another question. Do I need different level ring variables? Since we're not using the ring position for anything right now, these variables are kind of useless right now. They're not being used. But I'll have to think about that, because if we're going to use those in the future, I might have to. No, I don't know. I might have to give that a sort of a LV1 nomenclature as well. I have to think about that. And here's another one. We don't need these because we're not playing 5 rings on this level. So we got there, there, there. Okay. Now grab this one. This one. And this one. And then finally this one. I have to play this just to make sure that we didn't break anything. Oh, I know. We've got to add this one to and this one. Oh, here's this extra junk down here. We got to clean that up. I don't need 5. I don't need 4, and I don't need 3 at this level. So we clean that up. And why does that look different? Oh, I'm not resetting the, oh my gosh, look at all this mess here too. Clean that up. Having a clean workspace makes for a productive employee. Okay. Ring, set ring for, oh, you know what? These have to be back to 0 because I redid that. Yeah, so if we go back over to ring 3 rings, there, everything's getting set back to 0. Oh, look, and I've got 5 in here too. Huh, just noticed that. Okay, let's clean. Now we're just bouncing all over the place. Let's clean this one up. Let's clean this one up. Clean up, clean up, clean. What's that song? Clean up, clean up. I'm going to organize this a little better. Go. Busy work. You guys are just, you're hanging out. This is a Friday busy work. Busy work day. There we go. We got that all clean. Now let's go back over to 2 ring and pick up where we left off. Start here. We've got 2 rings. We've got our variables up there. That looks good. And they're set to 0. Right here we're missing those 2. So we need these over here. And we need to push this navigation trigger, that's one of those things when you're adjusting variables, you have to make sure that it's just sort of a rule. When you're adjusting variables and navigating, clicking the same button, then always make sure the navigation trigger is the last one on the stack, because Storyline reads top to bottom. So I've got all my variable adjustments before I navigate. Because if not, well, just sort of a tip here, if this was up above any of this, it's doing exactly what you're telling it to do. You're telling Storyline to go to this other location, and it doesn't ever have a chance to even consider doing anything else because you told it to leave. So we don't want to leave yet until we take care of all this. Now let's see, we got this one, ring 2. Oh, and these are 0. And tower B. Aha, we're missing all kinds of stuff over here. Let's grab this one. Here's another tip. When you copy a trigger, and I want to see right now it's highlighting right here, and no object is selected on the slate. So what that's going to do is it's going to put that trigger up here in the timeline area. If I want it to tie to a button, just click any trigger within that stack, and if you notice, the object then gets highlighted on the slide. So it doesn't matter where I click in this area. It's going to append to the bottom, and then I can adjust it where I want, paste again, and then I just adjust this one to number 2. Workflow. It's all about being efficient. Okay. They all look the same. There we go. And I know one thing I've noticed 1, 2, 3. It was 3 arrow clicks. That's all I remember. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I think I moved this down 3 as well. Oh my gosh, we're out of time. It's 1 hour. I'm going to do a quick test. I'm staying on. If y'all don't mind, it's Friday. It's Friday. All right, I'm going to test this out real quick. And let's see if the whatchamajigger works. The best game configuration. So, there's one. Oh, look, it's not even counting. There's no counting going on. I mean, it wins, but there's no. Why isn't anything counting? Why is it nothing counting? Oh, because it's the other variable. Duh. Look at that. You got to go fix all these. L1 moves. So I guess, getting on my chair here, this is just another example how critically important it is to have a good set of naming conventions and know what your build is, know your structure, know how things are put together, because you will have to troubleshoot. And sometimes building these interactions are half the effort. The other half is troubleshooting your own work. Look at that. I've got to do this too. This has got to be... And knowing exactly where to go to fix things is half, if not more than half of your time. I'm just saying. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of doing this. Kind of figured out some things. L1, just make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, so That was the biggie. And this one, L1. Everything's L1, LV1. Ah, right there, LV1. See that? That's helpful. Renaming these. LV1. I think I'm going to rename these rings LV1 as well, just so that I know. I think I'm going to do that. And then reset. LV1. LV1. Level 1, level 1, level 1. Level 1. Here's the other one. This is the the one just before the wind layer that does the tracking for the best game. So we've got to come in here and adjust this condition. I can tell that I'm getting into my flow right now. I'm focused. I'm thinking ahead of different things that I need to do, and I stop talking. I just start focusing, and I'm not I'm not coherent in my language. Because I'm focused on looking for exactly one thing. Oh, I missed one almost. There we go, there's one. LV1, come up here, and this should be the last one, and then we can test. I know I'm going over just a little bit, but you know what? Today, let's see, we got about an hour in. As of yesterday, we were at 13 and a half hours of live broadcasting. Uh-oh, what happened right here? Oh. What's going on here? La 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 la. Show layer greater than stay when object drag 2 is dropped on drag 2. Ring 2. Why would ring 2 move? It should be ring 1. When ring 1 is dropped on C4. If greater than 3, how did that change to 3? Oh, because it's 3 moves, not 7. That's not right. Hold on. Oh, now what did I just do? One. This is L1. Show C2 if ring 1 is dropped on B5. So what does C2 look like? That's C2, that's correct. Show greater than 3 moves when the user drops target on C4 if L2, if L1. Oh, you know what? Aha. This line doesn't make sense. L1 and number of games is greater than or equal to 2. double check that over here. So like one of these. Yeah, so the 7, so that's minimum. L2 dropped on, that's the win, but then the greater than is I don't need that. No, I don't need that. It's just greater than. It's just a greater, it's equal to or greater than. This is just showing the layer. It's not doing the best games thing. Okay, so I got a little, crossed my wires there a little bit. I don't need that extra trigger right here. Greater than or equal, or just greater than 3. It's not greater than, equal to, it's just greater than. Yeah, greater than 3. And so greater than 3 is greater than, oh, this was, why is it 2 triggers? Why is there 2 triggers there? That should be there, and this should be equals to. So it's this one or this one. Right, so this one should say the same thing. Greater than, if L1 is greater than 3, L1 is equal to 3. Right, and then B2 should say the same thing. B4 equal to tower B3, greater than 3. Okay, so that looks better. Okay, that looks good. Maybe. Now the only other thing that's bothering me is all of these extra ones in the naming conventions. All this extra numbers in here. So I'll clean that up. I'll clean that up later. All right, I just want to do a real quick test. Let's just do a quick test on this one. And then I'm going to put buttons on the other one, publish it out, send it to you guys, and then play with it over the weekend, if you want. Okay, let's see. One, why is it, there it is, it's not scoring. Why is it not scoring? C1. C1. Add 1 to L1 nums move. Is it my, what is it down here? L1 num moves. That's correct. And then add 1 if wait, I need to come back here. There it is. That's what it is. Right there. But bam. L1 num moves if dropped on B5 or C5. Here we go. B5 or C5. That was missing. Is this very first move. The very first move is where it was hung up at. That should work. I always say that. That should work. And 1. There we go. Now we're cooking. 2. I'm going to get more than 3. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. Best game. Play again. Best game stays where it's at. 1, 2, 3. Now 4. Best game should say 4. Oh, it says 9. Why does it say 9? Because I am setting here. I'm setting here. All right, I got to study that. We're over time, but that's cool. I'm having a good time at this. I hope you are. Let's put this back where it belongs. Flip over, and we are episode 12 in the bag, about an hour and 10 minutes. So that takes us to 13, 14 and a half, about 14:45, 14:40 hours, live hours. And then, I don't know, maybe add another half a dozen hours in there tinkering with it at night. So maybe 20 hours so far, roughly. That's pretty good. I mean, we got a long way in 20 hours. We've probably got another 20 or 30 hours to go, if not 50. There's a lot to do, and that's why I'll probably work on it over the weekend just to kind of clean some stuff up. Because hitting Monday, I want to start adding the fourth ring. I want to get this all set up. So either we'll do Monday as a recap on what I did over the weekend, if I have time, which I really don't because I've got some other things I got to do. But who knows? I mean, it's all about live. It's all about having fun doing this. Thanks for joining, everybody. Happy Friday. And I'll send you guys a link. Please, just add your comments, what you like, what you don't like, what works, don't work, suggestions, ideas. We can make this thing run all the way through the end of the year. All right, y'all have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.